Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. On one hand, I feel embarrassed to make this video, but on the other one, I can't help it because it's about telling the truth and calling things as they are. And it is hypocrisy. And this is the United States of America, the government. Why do I say this? It's not because I don't like that country. I love it the most. The problem is I don't like when I see garbage doing garbage and pretending they're golden. I'm talking about the US government in this case, who are celebrating. Now they are for the International Criminal Court, all for it. Remember, about 2 weeks ago, they imposed sanctions, or they want to impose sanctions on the International Criminal Court. Why? Because the International Criminal Court issued some arrest warrants against some other people that the United States of America is owned by. But now, the International Criminal Court issued arrest warrants for 2 individuals that the Americans are all happy. Now, no more sanctions on the International Criminal Court coming from the US. So it's like this. Well, do we agree that a rape is a rape? Yes, and it's a crime. Yes. Well, this guy says it depends. This is what the US government behaves like. It depends who's committing it. No, whoever commits that is a criminal and must be punished. All right, so the same here. No. Now we like International Criminal Court because it's good, it's just fine. We're going to help International Criminal Court abduct those guys, which is Gerasimov, general, and Shoigu, general, former Minister of Defense of the Russian Federation. So, International Criminal Court now is good. When they issued arrest warrants for Netanyahu and other guys, oy vey, let me break these things, right? Let me read you a few articles here. We're going to start with CNN. And this is from June 26, 2024. International Criminal Court issues war crimes arrest warrants for Russia's Shoigu and Gerasimov. Let me show you. All right, here it is. Bam, 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 and I'm going to show you the face of the guys. So you know, if you meet them in Monaco, you know who they are. Why in Monaco? Because some people go to, what the hell is this? Some people go to Israel, New York, and London. Some people go in different places. These are the suspects. Got that? Got that. Okay, if you got that, let's move on. The Americans are celebrating. Yes, this is good. Yeah, you're doing good, International Criminal Court. Not over there. No. I'm going to show you the article as well. And not only, when the Ukrainians commit, and I'm going to show you why these guys were issued, Gerasimov and Shoigu, why they were issued arrest warrants. War crimes international, blah, 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 blah. But hey, I'm going to show you Podolyak, who says, what? Podolyak being a Ukrainian. So, the International Criminal Court, ICC, has issued an arrest warrant for former Russian Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu and Chief of the General Staff Valery Gerasimov for alleged international crimes, war crimes, and crimes against humanity. Where did we hear that before? The court said Tuesday the pair were allegedly responsible for 2 war crimes, directing attacks at civilian objects, remember that one, and causing extensive incidental harm to civilians or damage to civilian objects. They are also accused of committing crimes against humanity. What about Bill Clinton and Yugoslavia? And everybody else who was in the military at that point? On the 10 or 12 countries that bombarded Yugoslavia for what? 76 days? Remember? 1999? Where are those crimes? Where are those warrants? Not to be found. Why? Because in certain cases, it's not a crime to pop. In other cases, people that we don't like, we're going to find the crime. Remember? Give me a name, I find you the crime. And that's true. Give me your name, I'm guarantee you somewhere, if you dig deeper, you drove past the speed limit and you violated something. Guarantee you that. We all did it. More or less, we did certain things. If these guys look deeper, they will find. It's just the quantity and the intensity of the illegalities. Let's move back. Next one. Associated Press, International Court seeks arrest of Russian officials over attacks on Ukrainian power plants. right there. Okay, so power plants. Remember that Zaporozhye nuclear power plant? Yeah, you do. If you don't, anyway. So that was taken by the Russians, occupied by the Russians, I think on the 4th of March, 2022. So after about a week and a half of the war, the Russians took over. So it was Red Rover mine. And if you remember, the media claimed that the Russians are bombarding their own power plant. Zaporozhye nuclear power plant is like I have my house and someone says, Emil is bombing his house. Emil is bombing. It's a dangerous. Why would you do that? No. The other guys, most likely, and evidence shows, bombarded the area. Why would I do this? To what? To scare you? To threaten you? I don't need to do that and occupy it. I just stay outside and shoot at it if I want. I don't have to occupy it. So obviously it was the other guys. I mean, if you're I don't know, baboon, and you say, all right, it's not impossible. But anyway, so the same here. They attacked Ukrainian power plants. Who destroyed that dam, Zaporozhye dam? I can't remember the name of that dam. They said the Russians. They have any evidence? No, it's the Russians. Why? Because the Ukrainians said so, and the Americans. Therefore, done deal. I don't know who hit that one, but I don't say these guys or these guys without any evidence. Something hit that, something blew that. It was Zaporozhye dam is on the Donetsk. I can't remember the name of the dam. Remember about 2 years ago or so. Hey, remember those how do you call it? Nord Stream 1, Nord Stream 2 pipelines? Who blew those up? We don't know, but they knew who blew that. Please, come on. Don't be baboons. We are not, actually. So The Hague, Netherlands, the International Criminal Court, said Tuesday it issued arrest warrants for PPP attacks on Ukrainian power plants, the third time the global court has accused senior Russian leaders of war crimes. Right, next one. This comes from the Kiev Independent, US. And I'm going to show you a face of a weasel right here. Look at that guy. Jesus fucking Christ. I mean, if you guys went around the block one time at least, or maybe a few times, or halfway, you start, if you're not a baboon, and I'm going to use that, you can have a drinking contest as many times. Weasel, baboon, these are my words, Al Capone and these guys. You're going to start guessing, approximate someone's internal content of his character by looking at them. This one, I don't need to hear him. I heard him. So by hearing him, I know that's subjective, that's whatever. Experience, my friends, as body language. I know. And this guy, I heard him talk. He's not very bright either, so that's a good thing. Why? Because we see not cracks, big freaking giant holes. US backs ICC investigation into Shoigu, Gerasimov, State Department says. So these guys, yeah, we're going to help them. And those guys, no. I'm going to show you. Next one. The new voice of Ukraine. The US supports the International Criminal Court's investigation of Russian war crimes. State Department, the same baboon right there. Weasel. And now, let me show you when your uncle commits a crime, how people tend to, oh, it's my uncle, so let's forgive this guy. Now we have Podolyak, Ukrinform. Right here. Ram pam pam. You see that? Ukrinform. That's Podolyak. So Podolyak, if you remember, a few days ago, they say the Ukrainians. The Ukrainians were just a finger. Everybody else was the location. Sent what? 5 attack MS missiles over Crimea and towards Sevastopol. What military target over there? Forget about it. And one of these missiles exploded. It had cluster munition warhead, killed a lot of Russians beachgoers. Not let's say there's no Russians. People who live in Crimea. Why? Because there are Tatars over there, there are Ukrainians over there, there are some Romanians over there, or Moldovans, and there are some Russians over there. So you don't know exactly who you killed. So anyway, some people, beachgoers, including children, were killed, and about 151 injured. Beachgoers who were having fun. Now this Podolyak tells us they are not supposed to. And the Ukrainians, want to liberate them. What do you think the Ukrainians will do once they liberate Crimea? What do you think we'll do with those guys? Do you think there's going to be a ethnic cleansing? I think so. Because this is what Podolyak says, and I'm going to show you, read for you and show you what he says. Podolyak on explosions, not attack, explosions in Crimea. There cannot, that's illegal, cannot is not can't, like ability, cannot is not good, be any, and I'm calling beaches, no, not those kind of beaches, and I'm calling again, tourist zones on peninsula. And this guy wants to liberate those guys, right? What do you think will happen? So he says there can't be. What actually he says is this is fair game, and those are civilians. So they can't be. Now I want to hear the United States or the Hague, ICC saying, whoa, hold on, that's right there, a criminal, right there. And what they did is a war crime, civilians killed. I'm listening. Cuckoo. Basically, this is Podolyak, all right? Podolyak is what? There cannot be any beaches, tourist zone, and other fictitious signs of quote-unquote peaceful life in Crimea, temporarily occupied by the Russians. This is what this guy says. An advisor to the head of the office of the president of Ukraine, this Podolyak. So those are the guys that you say you're fighting for? What are they supposed to do? Overthrow the government that they voted in a referendum to join? Are you crazy? No. But Podolyak, no arrest warrant for Mr. Podolyak, and many more. Next one, because I'm not going to stop only here. And that is coming from Reuters, and this is an older article, and I'm going to show you, because it's very important. This is from June 5, 2024. U.S. House passes Republican bill to sanction International Criminal Court over, and you read the word, last one, Israel. There you go, Reuters. So they will sanction those guys because they issued arrest warrants for the wrong people. Washington, the Republican-led, it's not Republican Democrats, the same owners, the same parents of the, identical twins. These are Republicans and the Democrats. Identical twins, one of them has a mustache or a goatee, but they're the same. Why? Because their parents, elections, they are the same. Campaign donors are the same, with the same megaphones, which is the so-called mainstream media, which is the corporate media, works the same way. And we are the baboons who are allowed to show our, that we were propagandized or we weren't propagandized every 4 years. Congratulations, by voting. And then, as Stalin said, let them vote as long as we count the vote. Oh, the votes are counted electronically. Clip, clip, cloop, cloop, clap, clap. Who won? Let's put it here 55. Let's put it here 45. Okay, this state has what? 51 with 49. No, it's not like that. No, it's not. Don't you ever think it's like that, right? Because it's never been done, and it will never be done in the land of the free, the home of the brave. The vote was 247 to 155. So it's not only Republicans, because 42 Democrats joined Republicans in backing the measure. So it says the Republican, it says that would impose sanctions on the International Criminal Court over its prosecutors' decision to seek arrest warrants for Israeli officials related to the war in Gaza. Oy vey, we can't have that. So, what do you want? Huh? What do you think? I think that if we are to be as we say we are, which is, the land of the I think each and every person, and I'm not for the International Criminal Court. I'm for the UN Court of Justice, if there will be something like that. There is one. I'm for that. If they find something, I would agree to go and issue to, for instance, to George Bush the second, Bill Clinton the first, Chelsea Clinton the future, and so on, and Obama for his Libya garbage and so on. All these guys could easily be issued an arrest warrant, but they're not. Why? Who's gonna enforce that? And the same here. Who's gonna enforce these guys? Nothing. It's just but the other ones, nobody's gonna enforce anything about against Israelis leaders. I guarantee you that. I cut my balls off here on no. But nevertheless, these guys felt that they have to show support to the only democracy in the Middle East, our eternal ally. Oh, because it fights a war of self-defense. Hercules, Hercules, remember that one? All right. Now, thank you very much for being with me again today. Hypocrisy, hypocrisy. And not only, there's not justice, and those are the elected officials of the Americans. And that imbecile over there, that you say over there, what's his name, whatever, the weasel that I showed you, doesn't really matter. He is not an elected official, but he comes over and he behaves like a tsar. Not like a tsar, that's an insult. Like I am, like a tyrant. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Why? Because listen to him or with the other garbage called Corinne Jean-Pierre, all right? She's 86 IQ whatsoever. See how she treats the questions, some questions that dare to be asked. I'm not going to talk to you. Bitch, you're over there to talk. That's your job. You're going to give me an answer. I'm done with you. Motherfucker, it's your job to talk, to answer. But she behaves differently. Why? Because people like that, they don't understand they have a list of tasks, job description tasks. And one of them, the most important one, she is to brief and answer questions, not to lecture how the question should be. Remember how that Acosta dealt with imbecile Acosta from CNN? Anyway, with Donald Trump, remember? Remember that one? Remember that one. Have you seen anything like that happening to this Biden? No. They are talking and Biden is like, and it's taken away like a fucking painting. You know, when you have a, how do you call that, an auction, and they say, okay, adjudicate, bam, 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 big, 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 it's for Mr. Adjudicat, back for Mr. Gigi Van Damme, Gigi Van Damme, and then take the whatever piece of art, let's say it's a painting, take it out of the whatever it is, and it's taken out. The same as Biden. That's it. He got his 15 minutes of leaving in front of everyone, because after that he's put in his how do you call that, in a crypt, like Dracula. And again, after that they start injecting, putting in nostrils, in his anus, and so on. Oh my God, what this guy has. That's why I am for an international, and not only like 10 drug screening for all of them, for any politician. But hey, you know that the US elected officials, they are not drug screened when they get office. But if you want to take a job in government, you are drug screened. It's either or, you know, either or. I think that if you act imbecilically and then in the crime we find out that you are under the influence, yes, but if someone is under the influence and functions perfectly, I have nothing against that. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.